The word embouchure comes from the French word meaning mouth. So whenever we talk about the embouchure, we are referring to the way we form our mouth in performing on a wind instrument. Now it's important to remember, especially with the trumpet, that not everyone's facial structure is exactly the same. So the way individuals form their embouchure may be a little different from one person to the next. But we're going to talk about here just the general principles that are going to guide us for success in the future. So the basis of forming our embouchure is saying the letter M. So say M. Now say M again, but flex these corners of out here of your mouth. M. And when I do that, you can see some dimples form. Not everybody has dimples, that's okay. So we're going to form our embouchure, and when we do that and we say the letter M, we notice that our teeth are a little bit apart as well. They're not closed. So say M. Now blow some air through your lips. Just let a little bit of air through. M. Notice that our chin is flat too. It's not bunched like that. Okay, so it's flat chin. And when we blow that air through, that opening in our lips we call the aperture. Now try it and slowly bring the lips closer together and see if we can get a buzz to happen. M. So that's the very basis of forming an embouchure, and I encourage you to practice that, especially in front of a mirror, to work on controlling that aperture. Now, when we get to the mouthpiece, this is where people's facial structure, dental structure becomes a little bit different. But the general principle for placing the mouthpiece is we want it to be in the center of our lips, kind of 50-50 up and down and 50-50 side to side. So here's a picture of how that should look with a mouthpiece, and now with a mouthpiece visualizer so you can actually see the lips, how they look inside the mouthpiece. But where we want to be very careful is that we don't have the mouthpiece too low or too high so that the rim of the mouthpiece is below the red part of the lip. Here's a picture showing the mouthpiece too low. As you can see, there's very little bit of that upper lip inside the mouthpiece. Here's a picture of it being too high. So when the mouthpiece is too high or too low and you're playing on the red of the lip, what that does is it causes the pressure of the mouthpiece to smash against that very supple part of your lip, and that's going to swell. The outside of your lip, okay, can take a little bit more of a beating, but that red supple part will begin to swell much more quickly if you're pressing directly on that. So that's something you want to watch out for with your students and even in your own playing, particularly if you're checking yourself in the mirror to see, is my mouthpiece drifting too low or too high? It's one thing to have the mouthpiece angled down a little bit. Some people with an overbite may angle the mouthpiece down. That's fine. But if you're playing on the red of the lip, you want to correct that as soon as possible because it will cause problems later on down the road. Now, when we place that mouthpiece on our lips, I'm just going to blow air through now. So there's no buzz happening. I'm just blowing air. So I'm saying M. Now this time, do it again. Blow the air through and then gradually close your lips. M. And at a certain point, you'll feel the lips grab the air and begin to vibrate. Try it again. M. So practicing that every day, also practicing without the mouthpiece, and getting lips to vibrate just by themselves will be a big help in creating that initial buzz on the mouthpiece, which will help us play the trumpet much, much better, much more efficiently, and sound much, much better as well. Now, it's very important, those of you who are teachers, to check your students' embouchures regularly. Maybe at least once a month, pull them aside, especially if you're a band director, pull them out of the band, and see if things have started to drift one way or another, especially around braces time. That's when a lot of changes can happen. And so we want to keep that mouthpiece in general the location that I talked about earlier. And if it drifts a little bit to one side or the other, that's okay. But if it gets too low or too high, then we're playing on the red of the lip, and that's going to cause some problems down the road. So remember to check yourself in the mirror and your students regularly, and have fun practicing and getting this initial buzz on the mouthpiece.